Cuba, it's me. Welcome to episode 359 of The Willow Show, which stands for Wrestling is Life. Life is Wrestling. Now, today I want to talk about respect, or the lack of respect. Now, obviously, this doesn't apply to everybody, but some people need to step their respect game up. Now, I see a lot of guys, and like I said, this doesn't apply to everybody. There's so many great people in the wrestling business, so many wonderful talents. But I did a show yesterday about some newcomers that I was very fond of. And the reason I picked them was not just because of their in-ring ability, but because of their great attitudes and their respect for the veterans and just their work ethic and stuff like that. Now, the reason some of the people were not mentioned on the list is because of the respect thing. Now, I know doesn't mean a lot coming from me. To a lot of people, I'm a nobody. They don't never heard of me. They don't know who I am. They don't know that I've been wrestling a long time, or any of this stuff, and that's perfectly fine. You know, it's my fault because I never made it. I never made a name of myself for certain places, and I'm not known. But for me, when I came in the wrestling business, I know everyone knows the whole shake everybody's hands, be respectful, and stuff like that. But I find at a lot of shows, a lot of the new guys, I have to introduce myself to them, and I get it. I don't look like a wrestler. I don't, and especially like people see me like this. So when I go to the show and I have a hoodie on and I have a hat on and don't have this on, people just think I'm probably some ring crew member or something. But you know, when I go to the shows, I shake every ring crew member's hand, and I shake every person that's involved with the setup and the lighting and the music and everything. And I shake everybody's hand. And, you know, that is kind of a BS thing, like going and shaking everybody's hand. I get it. But especially when you've never met someone before, you should try and it always feels like it's me that I have to be the one to initiate it. And once I do, people are really nice. But they're just like, eh. And then I find a lot of people are already full of themselves. Like, they've been wrestling a year or two, and they already feel like they're superstars because the fans are gassing them up. And you do have to have a bit of an ego in this business. I get it. And you do have to have confidence in yourself. So, I mean, there's a fine line. You have to think you're the best, and you should. Otherwise, why are you in it? But I find a lot of people, the fans gas them up, and and it's a lot of clicky too. Like, if you're wrestling in this town, I think like if I wrestled in Hamilton, maybe I would be on more promotions. Maybe it'd have more eyes on me. But a lot of times the fans blow steam up their ass, and I'm not saying it's deserved or not. It's obviously well deserved. If they're a fan and they feel you're good, then yes. But always remain humble is what I would think, and be able to always ask for advice. Like, sometimes I get these guys and I'm doing a match with them and they've had like 16 matches or something, or 20 matches, or they've been wrestling 1 year, and they come and they tell me all the stuff they want to do, and it's like, you don't want to hear any of the ideas I want to do. Like, to me, I also made it a point, because I came from British Columbia, so I was not familiar with any Ontario wrestling. I made it a point to study, to find out the people that paved the road for me, and to respect the veterans, even if I wasn't a fan of their work, even if I thought I was a million times better than them, and I thought they were crappy wrestlers. I still would ask their advice, or I still would suck up to them and listen to whatever they wanted in the match. I just wanted them to be happy with me, and you got to put in ideas here. I'm not saying that, but still to this day, I generally, even if it's a new guy, I just want them to be happy with the match. I'll let them come up with a lot of ideas, but it's so funny because that's my intent anyway. I'm going in and say, I want to hear what this guy, I'm going to let him do the match, and I just want him to be happy with it. But then when they come up telling me what everything the match is, I'm like, but you didn't even ask me. So it's kind of funny like that. And a lot of people do deserve to put the match together. I mean, it should be a 50-50 thing, but I find it's a lot better when one person comes up with the majority, because then they have it all worked out, and then you could just say, okay, well, when it's my turn here, I want to do this move, this move, this move. And yeah, I just feel like maybe people should respect the business more. I get it. Like, I'm not saying, oh, if there was never any of these Ontario companies before, that there would be no wrestling now. Because obviously wrestling's really popular now, and there would be wrestling regardless if there was no wrestling before that. But still, like, it's just like, to me, it's just something that should be done. Like, you should always look up to people who've been doing it longer than you, and I feel you can learn something from everybody, whether they're new or old. And like, it's so funny. I did this one show, and I do have a witness to this, but I'm not going to name names. I don't want to drag anybody into the thing. And it was a venue that it was in Hamilton, and I sat on the couch with a couple people I knew, and we just sat there. I guess we didn't look too happy. We were just sitting there talking quietly amongst ourselves, being in our little group, and nobody really wanted to say hi to us. And then I said, well, watch this. So I stood up and put a big smile on my face and said, waved at everybody as they came, and then everybody was being so nice to me. So sometimes maybe people just think, oh, there's a veteran, but I don't want to approach him. I don't want to disturb him. And I was the same way when I started out. There's guys in the locker room who I was really intimidated by, and I didn't want to offend them. I didn't want to, I wanted to go up and shake their hand, but if they were talking to somebody, I didn't want to interrupt them while they were talking, so I would do it, but I would wait for what I thought was a perfect opportunity, and all I would say is, nice to meet you, sir, this is my name, and that was it. And so I get it. You're never going to please everybody in the wrestling business, and I'm not the type to go on a big rant, but I think everybody should look themselves in the mirror. Everybody could do a little bit better at something. And it depends too. I find people are nicer to people if they run a promotion. People are way nicer to those guys because they know, hey, that could be an opportunity for me. Or if there's someone that is praised as having all the main events and having championships and everyone says they're a good wrestler, people will go out of their way to be nicer to those people. But to me, it's like, shouldn't you treat everyone equally? You never know. The guy that you just treated like shit, he could be the guy running a promotion next year. Or the girl that you treated like shit, she could be the one that's in the main event next year. People don't forget who snubbed them on their way up. So my advice is to hop on everybody's bandwagon from the beginning. Like, that's why I always do these shows, putting over the young talent and stuff like that, because no one did it for me. And I love wrestling, and I love the wrestling business, and I love everybody in it, good or bad. Even the people that have rubbed me wrong, I still have respect for them, or I'm still fans of their work. Even if, I didn't like the way this person treated someone else. It's like, well, they still were good to me, so I do understand that I disagree with the way they maybe treated somebody else, but I just try and look it through everybody's eyes. Maybe something was said that person got rubbed the wrong way. So you never know every side of every story. But I just think people should generally, a lot of people take my kindness for weakness too. Like, I'm so nice, so they feel like they can, they just walk all over me, or I'm not important. And I thought, well, I should change. I should be more assertive. I should be sticking up for myself more. But you know what? That's not who I am. I don't want to change who I am. I'm a nice person, and I'm fans of everybody, and I'm very positive, and I'm happy to be wrestling. So I don't want anything to happen to ruin my day or ruin my mood. I could be not wrestling. There was a time for 2 years where I didn't wrestle, and I wished I could wrestle every single day. And then there was times where I got injured, and I didn't know if I'd ever wrestle again. So for me, I don't take it for granted. I am very, very happy just to be wrestling. So no matter what bad is thrown my way, it's still better than not wrestling. And then some people are, they're trying to get in, they're paying their dues, and they're complaining about this or complaining about that. Well, I just think you should be grateful for what you do have and not complaining about what you don't have. Because when I did my first 10 matches, I don't think I got paid. And if I did get paid, it was only a little bit. It was $10. This is back in 2000, so I guess that's $20 now, but still. It was a foot in the door. I wanted to wrestle. Technically, I would wrestle for free every time because I just love wrestling, but it's just not worth it, and you don't want to have that reputation of the guy that will wrestle for free unless, I guess, it's a charity show. But I just think people could be kinder, and people could say nice things to people. If someone, you notice they didn't have a good match, well, you don't got to point that out to them because they already know. People are already their hardest critics on themselves, and people are already going to be down. And I find there's people like that too. When I'm down, and there's people that lift me up, and I really appreciate that because I'm already so hard on myself. Even if it's a great match and I just screwed up one spot, or maybe I just forgot one thing, and I'm kicking myself, and I'm like, man, oh, I wish I could have done that better. And then someone says, hey, that was a really good match. And I'll be like, oh, I know, but this and this, I should have done this. And they're like, oh, I didn't even notice. Or, oh, it's not a big deal, you know, the crowd didn't notice. Or like, I think we should just all try and be positive to each other more. And even myself, I have to work on it. I have to start even being more positive and putting it out there, because we need more of that in society in general and in wrestling. But I want to hear from you guys. Is any times that you felt that people didn't show respect, or maybe you felt like people were getting too big of an ego at such an early stage of their career or whatnot? Because as always on the W.I.L.L.I.W show, like, or you get a leg drop, comment, or you get a clothesline, subscribe, or you get a suplex. I'm your host, Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba.